Welcome to another episode of our live stream, A Journey to the Trinity. Um, oops. Yeah, there's Pinky, and hope you all having a good day. Hello, MMA Paradise. God bless you. And hello, Rachel. Salam al Masih al Jamir. God bless you guys. And yeah, we had a couple earthquakes today. Let me see. So I decided to do something about earthquakes because earthquake is a very important subject. Let me just put this up here. If you see this picture, by the way, this is Scientific Miracle Week. That means this whole week we're going to be talking about the scientific miracles of the Quran. Today's earthquakes. And because there was an earthquake in California, and there was also an earthquake in the Middle East. And both of them were around 5.2 or so. Yeah, I had some friends in the California one, and they said it was wobbly. It was really wobbly. Yes, thanks. Let me just tell you the reason I know this looks kind of funny, like what the heck? What's this about? Well, um, there's a belief in Islam and that the earth, and there's seven earths. That's why you see see those seven earths. They're like plates on top of each other, because there's seven earths, and the earths are on the top of the back of a whale, and the whale is on top of the water, and the water's on top of a bull, and the bull is on top of a rock. So this is the way the earth is. And so the earth is on top of a whale. And so whenever there's an earthquake, it's because the whale is jumping or something. And so what Allah has done is He has put mountains on the earth, and those mountains are to stabilize the earth when the whale starts jumping. And it keeps the whale from going too crazy. And by the way, the name of the whale is Noon. Noon. Now, if you know anything about Daesh or ISIS, during the time of ISIS in Mosul, Iraq, they used to put the letter Noon on their doors, and that's because Noon meant Nasara, which means Christians. It was a flapjack earth. If you want to come on, Truth Defender, you're more than welcome to come on. I know you know a lot about this. Yeah. Oh, man. Truth Defender, man. You guys, look what Truth Defender has done. It says flapjack earths, get some maple syrup. Now I want pancakes for breakfast. See what you've done. And by the way, the name of the bull is Bahamut, which you guys is the biblical name for the animal in the book of Job. There's two mysterious animals in the book of Job. One of them is Leviathan, which people believe to be a crocodile, and the other is Behemoth. Uh, and some people think that Behemoth is a like a hippopotamus or something. Okay, but here he is a bull. Okay, so and another thing, the whale, about the whale. The whale is the same whale that swallowed Jonah. Okay, so the whale that the earth is on its back is the same whale that swallowed Jonah. So, there's a lot of connection between these stories. You got Job involved here, you got Jonah involved in all this. All of this brings us back to earthquakes, okay? And so, anyway, I don't know where they got this. I don't know where they got this, but I will tell you that it does come from a Quran verse, actually. There's a Quran verse about this. We'll look at it. Okay, so you got the earths, and there's 7 earths, you guys. 7 earths, and they're on top of the back of a whale. Okay, a really big whale. It's the same whale that swallowed Jonah, that is in the water, on top of the water, I guess, and the water is on top of a bowl, and the bowl is on top of a rock. This is what, and this is written in many, 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 many Islamic scholars. This isn't like this is some strange, unknown source. We're talking about the big Islamic scholars all agree to this. So I just want to show a little bit because, like I said, there were 2 earthquakes today. Let me just show you here. This is from the Jerusalem Post. This is in the Middle East. It says a regional quake 5.2 hits northern central Israel and surrounding countries. It hit the Jordan-Syria region Tuesday, the German Research Center for Geosciences said. Okay, and then if you look on the right, you'll see 5.4 magnitude earthquake hits California. So we had 2 major earthquakes, both very similar in terms of the gauge, you know. Let's look at LA. Okay, now LA Times is saying that this earthquake was 4.4, but I heard it was very shaky. Very, I mean, you really felt a lot of times there's earthquakes and people don't feel them, but this one was definitely felt, and and it hit a big area of Southern California. So okay, so there's earthquakes, and you know that in the Bible, Jesus predicts earthquakes. That's one of the signs of the end. And all the other things are happening too. I mean, the wars, the rumors of wars, false religions, deception, and earthquakes. And so we're getting, and Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris is not mentioned, but economic collapse is mentioned, which is what will happen if she becomes president. So, yes, political upheaval, you know, so yeah, very interesting. And so anyway, let's look at a little bit about earthquakes in the Quran. Okay, here's some verses about earthquakes in the Quran. Okay, in Surah Al-Anbiya, that's 21:31. Okay, it says, "And we have set on the earth firm mountains, lest it should shake with them." Okay, so these mountains, remember, you guys, just in case you forgot, let me show you again that the earth is on the back of a whale. And because it's on the back of a whale, you see this whale has a tendency to go, you know, flip-flop around. And the earth starts moving and shaking when that happens. And so Allah has put mountains on the earth to, so it'll be firm, so that it will not, you know, the earth won't fall off the back of the whale. I mean, what happens if it falls off the back of the whale? Okay, dreadful thoughts. Okay, then Surah 16:15, "And he cast onto the earth firm mountains, lest it should shake with you." Okay, so Allah put mountains on the earth, and Muhammad believed that the earth was flat, you guys. I mean, it's important to understand. He didn't know that it was round. He thought it was flat. Okay, he didn't think it was what's the word? It's circular. I'm not sure exactly the word. A globe, like it's a globe. He thought it was flat. Okay, and so these mountains were on it to keep it from flopping around on the back of the whale. Okay, then there's Surah Luqman, which is Surah 31, verse 10. It says, "He has created the heavens without supports that you can see." and has cast onto the earth firm mountains, lest it should shake with you. So those mountains keep the earth from shaking. Okay. So you guys, it's not like this is in one time. This is, oh, look how many times it's in the Quran. Okay. Then An-Naba, okay, Surah 78, verse 6 and 7. Have we not made the earth an expanse and the mountains as stakes, as those to anchor a tent to the ground? The same way that, when you have a tent, you put anchors around it, you put those, those pegs to keep it in the ground. Well, this is Allah put the mountains on the earth to do that. Okay. And then the Surah 88, 17 and 19 says, do they, the unbelievers, not look at the mountains, how they have been pitched like a tent? Okay, so that doesn't really mention the but I bet you it will. Let's just look, 88, 17 and 19. I bet you. Okay, let's get 88. So I bet if we look at it here, let's let you look with me here. Present, okay, 88, 17 and 19. Okay, 17. Do they not reflect on the camels, how they were masterfully created? فلا ينظروا إلى الإبل كيف خلقت. Ibil. I wonder what language that is. Just because there's another word for camel in the Quran, and it's ba'ir. And ba'ir comes from the Assyrian. It's not an Arabic word. And I wonder, Ibil, is another word for camel in the Quran. They got so many words for camel in the Quran. Now, the main word for camel in Arabic is jamal. Jamal is very close to camel. It sounds very similar to camel. But the word for camel in Arabic is jamal. But there's so many words. There's also the word ba'ir. Ba'ir is like when they talk about the camel urine. And the camel urine is bol al-ba'ir, the urine of the ba'ir. Ba'ir is supposedly camel as well. So they got all these different words for camel in the Quran. And at least with the ba'ir, like we had our friend the other day, Osama Daktu, he pointed this out, that the word ba'ir, which is used in the Quran about camels, is not an Arabic word. It's an Assyrian word. How did it end up in the Quran? That's supposed to be Arabic. So anyway, okay. But here it's even a different word. It's ibid, okay? Do they not reflect on the camels, how they were masterfully created, and the sky, how it was raised high, and mountains, how they were firmly set up, jibal, kayfa nusibat, and the earth, how it was leveled, sattahat. So the earth is leveled. You see, Muhammad believed that the earth was flat. Okay, so sattahat. Sattahat is literally to make something flat. Sattahat. It's also the word that they use for roof in Arabic. Okay, but the roofs are flat there. They're not like in America where they're like a V shape, upside down V shape, Okay. But it's interesting to have the word sattahat, that the earth is flat, like those pancakes, like the pancake planet. Okay. All right. So, okay. So those are, so that's kind of funny. So, Leveled like a rolled out pastry for, oh man, you're making me even hungrier. I just had a wonderful dinner. Gemma. My wife's going to get me in trouble, you guys. Jamal Harris. Camel Harris. Yo boy, شو راح اسوي يا I did. The she camel, white beast of splendid speed. Yo boy. Okay. So yes, there's Jamal. Jamal is Arabic for camel, so that's why my wife said that, you guys. Leveled like rolled out for pastry for a pie. Dang. Now I want pancakes with syrup for breakfast, and I want pastry. See what you guys do to me. Warako. Oh, Warako was Syrian. Okay. Well, that would explain it. 7 flat earths. And there's 7 heavens too, right? You know, Camelot. All right. Well, let's look at a little bit more about earthquakes. Okay. So you got all those verses in the Quran about earthquakes. Okay. And then, before we go on, I think I should take you to the verse of the Quran that deals with this issue of the, let's see, I think it's Quran 78. Oops. No, wasn't your mouse. Oops. Oh, it's not 78. Which one is it? I think it's 78. No? Oh, Al-Qalam. Al-Qalam. The pen. Who knows where that one is? Al-Qalam. Surah Al-Qalam. The surah of the pen. Here it is. It's 68. Okay. Okay. Are you guys watching here with me? Okay. Now, if you look, you guys, I'll make it big so you can see here. Okay. Right here, this is the first verse of 68. It says noon. See the noon by the pen and what everyone writes. And in Arabic, it's this letter right here. It looks like a smiley face with a dot on it. And this the letter, the way in English you say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Each letter has a name. You say W, X, Y, Z, well, in Arabic, the letter N is pronounced noon. Okay, so this is not none. It's written like none, like Joshua, son of Nun. But this is noon. It's pronounced noon. And, but what is that noon? What's that noon doing there? Yeah. Noon. Yeah, like lunchtime, my wife is saying. Okay, why is it there? It's like one of those, like, unknown things in the Quran. But there actually is, and you guys, you know what? This is one situation where the Islamic, sorry, you guys, I know you guys are worried. Good thing Tiger's not here. He would have brought attention to the absence of Pinky. Pinky. This is one situation where the Islamic scholars would have been better to not try to explain this. It would have been just as good to just say the noon was a mistake, or the noon has a mysterious meaning that only Allah knows, like, the disjointed letters ALM, Alif Lam Mim, and all those kahayas, all those disjointed letters that they have at the beginning of many of the surahs. I think it's like 18 surahs or 28 that have these mysterious letters that nobody knows what they mean. They're just a bunch of letters there, like ALM and stuff like that. They could have just said that Noon was one of that, and nobody really knows what it means. And it would have been better. I tell you, it would have been better if they did that. But no, they should have just left bad enough alone. But instead, they went about to explain it. And by explaining it, they made it 100 times worse than it was. Yes, it was painted on the homes of the Christians, because Noon is the first word of Nasara. Nasara is how they say Christians, and that's how the Muslims say Christians. Even though in reality that's not how you say Christians. Christians in Arabic is Masihiyin. Masihi. It comes from the word Messiah. Masihi, follower of the Messiah, Masihi. But Muhammad didn't know that, and so they called them Nasara instead, which are like kind of like saying Nazarenes or something like that. Okay, which I think it was like a Jewish cult, a Jewish cult, and but anyway, that's what in Islam, in the Quran, it never says the word Christian in Arabic. It never says Masihi. It says Nasara, which is the word for like Nazarenes. So anyway, it would have been better if they just if they said Allah knows what it means and nobody else knows what it means. It would have been better if they just said that. Instead, they decided to explain what the N means. And so this is what it means, okay? N actually has a meaning. And so here it is. Ibn Abbas. Now, this is Muhammad's cousin, you guys. This is Muhammad's cousin. So this is very important. Because if it's Muhammad's cousin, then you know that this came straight from Muhammad. Okay. Of all of the commentators, the most highly regarded is Ibn Abbas, because he was Muhammad's cousin. He was a Sahabi, one of the companions, and he was very close. I mean, he knew Muhammad better than any of the others. Like, I know a lot of people like Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir, very highly regarded Islamic scholar, one of the most famous, but he was 700 years after Muhammad. Al-Maududi, I think he's still alive now. All these guys are over 1,000 years after Muhammad, but Ibn Abbas was his cousin, and he was there. He heard it from him. And this is what he says about the letter Nun at the beginning of this surah. It says, and from his narration on the authority of Ibn Abbas, the cousin, that he said regarding the interpretation of Allah's saying Nun. Nun, he says, Allah swears by the Nun. I mean, Allah swears by it. So, it's like, Allah swears by the fig. There's one place where Allah swears by the fig, and he swears. And he swears by, I know in the Bible, it says that there is one time where God swears, and he swears by himself, because there's no one higher to swear by. He swore by himself to Abraham that he was going to bless Abraham and that the Messiah was going to come through Abraham, because there was no one higher to swear. He swore by himself that he was going to bless Abraham this way. Now, Allah of Islam, he swears by different things. He swears by the moon and the stars up above. The song, by the moon and the stars up. There's actually a surah in the Quran that says that Allah swears by the moon and the stars. And the group that sang it is called All for One. Not Allah for One, but All for One. That's all. But anyway, and he also swears by the fig, and he swears by the pen, and he swears by the Noon. Okay, so this is one of the things Allah swears by. And Ibn Abbas heard from Muhammad what Noon means. Okay, and here is what Noon means, you guys. Okay, Noon, which is the whale that carries the earth, plural, on its back while in water, and beneath which is the bull, and under the bull is the rock. and under the rock is the dust. And no one knows what is under the dust save Allah. You would have been better to say no one knows any of this but Allah. It would have been so much better. But instead, they set about to explain it. And so the name of the whale is Liwash. And it is said that its name is Nuteya. The name of the bull is Bahamut, which is taken from the book of Job in the Bible. And some say the name is Talhut or Leona. Yeah, boy, yay! So the whale's got like 3 names, you guys, because his name is Noon, unless, of course, there's a possibility here, you guys, because I want to be fair. It's possible when you're talking about Noon, you're not actually talking about the name of the whale, but you're talking about the species of the whale. This is the kind of whale that has planets on its back. And so this is a very big whale. I mean, all whales are big, but this one's really big, and it has the Earth's, look at it, it's Earth's plural on it. Okay. It's on its back while in water, and beneath which is a bull, and under the bull is the rock, and under the rock is Bahamut. Okay, some say its name is Talhut or Leona. The whale is in a sea called Adwad. Okay, so we also know the name of the water. It's called the Sea of Adwad. Okay. And it is like a small bull in a huge sea. The sea is in a hollowed rock, whereby there is 4,000 cracks. Yo boy, yeah, yo boy, yeah, yo boy, yeah. And each crack, water springs out to the earth. So the water goes upwards, defies gravity, and goes onto the earth because the earth is on top of it. You guys, I'm confused. Please help me. The sea is in a hollowed rock, whereby there are 4,000 cracks. And from each crack, water springs out to the earth. I am so confused. I need help. Okay, the reason I'm confused, you guys, look at this picture. The bull is on top of this rock, and the rock is under the bull, and the earths are way up on top of the whale. How does the water come out of the 4,000 cracks in this rock and go onto the earth? How does the water go through the 4,000 cracks in this rock onto the earth? I mean, does the water go up? Is this like ketchup that goes up? I don't know. I'm too confused. Okay, guys. Well, this is what Ibn Abbas says. Like I said, he is Muhammad's cousin. He heard it exactly from Muhammad himself. Rand says, Allah swearing by lesser things means that those things are greater than himself. Blackwater. Hey, it's a surah in the Quran, Blackwater. It says, I swear by the moon and the stars. It literally says that in the Quran. So, who's the plagiarist? I don't know. Okay. All right. So anyway, the name of the sea, the whale is in a sea called Adwad, and it is like a small bull in a huge sea. The sea is in a hollowed rock. whereby there is 4,000 cracks, and from each crack water springs out to the earth. It is also said that Nun is one of the names of the Lord. Oh my goodness. It is also said that Nun is the name of the whale, but it's also one of the names of the Lord. It stands for the letter Nun in Allah's name, Al-Rahman. The last letter in Al-Rahman, the beneficent, is Nun. Now, I know that Arabic is written backwards, but even when it's written backwards, Nun is still the last letter. So, okay. And it is also said that Nun is an inkwell. So Nun is a whale. Nun is the name of Allah, and Nun is an inkwell. And the whale is called Nun, but the whale is also called Liwash, and it's also called Latuya. And the bull is called the Bahamut, but it's also called the Talhut and a Layona. And the sea is like a little water. It's called Adwad. So anyway, Nun has it's the whale is called Nun. It's the Lord's name. It's one of the Lord's names. It's what Nun is one of the names of the Lord. It's one of the Lord's names, and it's an inkwell. Okay, by the pen. Allah swore by the pen. Okay, so Allah swore by the pen. He swore by the fig, he swore by the moon and the stars up above, and by the pen. This pen is made of light, and its height is equal to the distance between heaven and earth. That is one big pen. It is with this pen that the wise remembrance, i.e., the guarded tablet, was written. Okay, now I'm totally lost. I'm totally lost. Because the tablet is al-Kitab, the mother of the book, and it's supposed to be eternal. It's uncreated, it's eternal like the Quran is eternal. But here it's saying it was written at some point in history, which means it's not eternal. But I know the Sunnis, if you say that the Quran is not eternal, then you are a kafir. And right here, this pen is made of light, and its height is equal to the distance between heaven and earth. It is with this pen that the wise remembrance, i.e., the guarded tablet, was written. I thought the guarded tablet was eternal, uncreated. Here it's saying it was actually written. It is also said the pen is one of the angels by whom Allah has sworn. Allah also swears by angels. And that which they write therewith, and Allah also swore by what angels write down of the works of the children of Adam. Okay. Dang. I'm totally confused. But, okay. So there you go, you guys. Now you understand that there is these earths, and it literally says that in here. It says the earths, plural. There's 7 earths. They're on the back of a whale that is in a sea, and that's on the back of a bull, that's on a rock that's on dust. And the water, there's 4,000 cracks in this rock, and water comes out of it and falls onto the earth. Whew. That's a lot of information to swallow. Okay, well, there you have it. So this is where the earthquakes come from, because the whale moves around. And when it moves around, the earth shakes. The flat earth shakes. But so Allah put mountains on the earth to stabilize it when it's on the back of the whale. So is it, and obviously you might have a question. Is it actually the whale that's moving, or is it the bull that's moving? Because if the bull moves, then the whale moves. Does the bull stand there in that position for eternity? How does the bull stay like that for all eternity? Okay, Truth Defender sending me some stuff here. He always sends me important information. Here, Islamic World Map. This geographical treatise collection of wondrous tales was exceedingly popular in medieval and early modern Islamic society. The map is shown here is an unusual in its portrayal of several creatures supporting the world in the firmament. While it uses traditional Islamic projection of the world as a flat disk surrounded by a sundering sea, which are restrained by the encircling mountains of Kaf, the map also shows the Ottomans' early use of geographic information based on European cartography methodologies and exploration. Yeah, boy, yeah. Okay, here, it actually has a picture. Let me see if I can get this. I could show it to you. Okay, shoot. I wish I could send this to, maybe I could send it to, can I download? I could send it, right? Oops. Cancel. What I'm going to do. Okay, let me do this. Okay, send it through Messenger. Because if I send it through Messenger, then I can show it to you guys. Okay, send it. Okay, and then I want to see the other one too. Okay. Oh. You guys make sure and thank Truth Defender for this. He's the one that shared this with us. So, learning some new things here about this whale situation. And here. Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and show this to you. Okay, here, you guys, you see on the right, you see there's the dust underneath. I guess that's, oh, you know what, Lewis? I think you're pushing some errors, because here you have the bull, you have a goat on top of the whale, and it's the opposite, my friend. You should be accurate, if you're going to present stuff, because here the bull is on top of the whale, and in the reality the whale is on top of the bull, and the earth is on the back of the whale. Here you have the whale under the feet of the goat, and you even change the animals. My goodness, Lewis. Okay, and it's on top of a, I'm not sure what that thing on the bottom is. I think it's supposed to be a rock with 4,000 cracks in it. So, okay, but there you go, you guys. This is like ancient. I'm curious. I'm curious if I can make it bigger. I could try to read the Arabic if it shrinks. Shoot. Explore the heavens. Okay. All right, here's another one. According to North American Indian myth, before the earth was fully formed, there were two realms, that of the sky and the lower world, that contained only water and water creatures. When a woman, known as the Sky Woman, fell from the cloud world, two swans came to her rescue. The swans were not strong enough to support the Sky Woman, and a creature known as the Great Turtle offered to hold her. Other water creatures brought earth from the bottom of the sea to place on the back of the Great Turtle, forming the earth we know today. Some Indians still refer to North America as the Turtle Island. Okay, so a very similar story here. Very similar story, but it's just showing that these type of myths, oops, it's my beautiful baby. So these type of myths were very popular. Okay, so everybody's got something like this. Remember, I remember hearing about, wasn't there a belief that the earth was on top of the back of a turtle or something? I remember in kindergarten. Buddhists believe that? Oh, okay. Yeah, the earth was on the back of a turtle or something. So everybody's got these great, but there's a difference. This is actual Islam. Okay. This is actual Islam, and major, tons of Islamic sources teach this. Teach that there's this whale with a bull under it, and it's because of Ibn Abbas here. So, wow. Very nice. So anyway, guys, this is why we have earthquakes. This is why we have earthquakes, okay? So, okay, here's another little thing. Let's look at this. Okay, now this was a Muslim guy named Shaheen who was trying to explain, there were some people that looked at this artistry and they said, wait a minute, we know that this isn't the real situation. And so this Muslim guy wrote, and this was in Answering Islam. Let me just read what he said. Regarding earthquake and its relation to these verses of Quran, I have to say that for the 1000th time, this misunderstanding of Quran happened to you and some others because of reading translations in English instead of the Arabic text. You guys, I read the Arabic. It doesn't help at all. When Quran says mountains are there to prevent from shaking, the surface is not meant, but the whole sphere earth is the matter here. Well, the problem is that the Quran says that the earth has been flattened. Okay. I know that we all know it's a sphere now, but Muhammad didn't. Without mountains, the revolutional movement of the earth around its axis wouldn't be smooth, and it would shake, as in the case of the non-homogeneous roulette. When Earth was in its original liquid state, these mountains appeared in exactly the right places according to the laws of physics, fluid dynamics, if we want to be accurate, to prevent its shaking as described above. So these mountains are there to make the Earth an overall homogeneous object, to be able to have a smooth, non-shaky revolution around its axis. This is undisputable fact. Scientifical fact. Now, I can provide you with the exact mathematical and physical explanations in this regard. As a further explanation, one can observe the revolutional movement of asteroids. They have never been in liquid state, so the mountains on their surface do not adjust this rotational movement, and therefore their spinning is shaky. That would cause very strong and wild, at the same time, periodical tides, and make living or even sticking to the ground so hard, if not impossible. This fact has nothing to do with earthquakes. Well, reading that has done something for me. It has made me hungry again, this time for pizza, because Shakey's is a pizza place. So I want pancakes with syrup, I want pastry, and I want Shakey's pizza. And I like pepperoni, you guys. So if anybody feels led to send us some, heads up. So, okay, well, that was some explanation, you know, and it reminds me, they're trying to make sense of this right here, trying to make sense of this. And then when they find out the science and they find out that this isn't the case, then they have to try to either ignore it, or the better thing is to ignore it, you guys. The better thing, let me just give a bit of advice to scholars, Muslim scholars. Ignore this. Ignore the noon. Say this is something Allah knows. Allah ya'lam. It's very easy to do that. You do that with most of the Quran. You say Allah ya'lam. Allah knows. Nobody else knows. Why couldn't you do that with noon? Why did you have to go about coming up with this explanation? With this story of the whale? Okay. You could have just left it. So much of the Quran, Muhammad came up with so many ways, escape routes, so that you don't have to deal with these issues. You just say, hey, no, this is something that only Allah understands. So much of the Quran is like that, right? Mutashabbihat, the ambiguous. So much of the Quran is like that. You could have said it was abrogated. You could have done anything. But no, you took this one letter and you built this whole universe around this one letter, and all of it is preposterous and hilarious. You didn't have to do it. You could have just ignored it and say, Noon, it's the letter of the alphabet. It means Nasara, or it means something. Just leave it, like the rest of the disjointed letters that you don't know what they mean. But no, you had to explain it. And when you explained it, this is what you came up with. And so now you're kind of stuck with it, and you are stuck with it because it's in all of the major scholars. All of the major scholars talk about this. Okay. So here's another little. Okay, now this is from, and I wonder if I ought to take you guys over there. I think this is Kushaydi. You know what? I think I'm just going to take you there rather than just read this. Let me just, oops, put on X. I could just take you there instead of reading it like this, because that way we could read the whole thing. Oops, I want to go to the commentaries, and I believe this is Kushaydi. Okay, 60. Oops, no, it is not Kushaydi. Oh, no. To study? Okay. No, this isn't it. It's not Kushaydi. Is it the Kashani? I think it might be Kashani. Okay. Oops. I don't know. Okay, it's not Kashani, because Kashani only goes, shoot, you guys, Kashf al-Asrar? Okay, yeah, I think it might be this one. Because he only writes about one things. Okay, I think this is it right here. Okay, yeah. So I could just show you this. This would be the last one, you guys, and I know that there's a lot of information here, but let me just show you this. This is kind of deep. It's very deep. This is Kashf al-Asrar, or the revealing the secrets. Is what it means in Arabic. Okay, Noon is one of the letters of the alphabet. The alphabet's letters are the roots of words, the connectors of phrases, separators of verses. All indicate generosity and bounty, some in brief, some in detail. They allude to great gentleness and good news of love, expiation of offenses, the plundering of the hearts of friends. They are the foundation of words, adornment speakers. Understanding them is the mark of those who conform. You know what this reminds me of, you guys? Is I heard about there's like a handbook for American diplomats who go to the Middle East. American diplomats who go to the Middle East to deal with Arab leaders. A part of their handbook of the protocol when dealing with leaders from the Middle East, like an Arab leader, Arab president, Arab ambassador, is you have to use the first half hour just to talk about the guy's kids. And you got to talk about how beautiful the house is. You got to talk about what a wonderful country it is. You got to talk about how wonderful his eloquence is and how good his English is. You got to do like half hour has to be flowery compliments. Okay. Now, like if you're going to go deal with the German in 2 minutes, you got to get right to the subject or else he's going to kick you out. You know, the German, you have to be punctual. You got to talk exactly to the subject. No beating around the bush. No 3 hours of complimenting the kids. No, with Arabs, you got to talk flowery baloney for a half hour before you get to the subject. Reading this reminds me of that. So, okay. They are burdens on the necks of their enemies, thorns in the eyes of the innovators. They are belief of the faithful. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to read all of this as it goes. Okay. He wrote the ink of light on the notebook of carnelian, on the story of the deeds of created things, the heart of the recognizer. Okay, and then we come down to this. He wrote in the heart, and he wrote it all in description. He did not show what he wrote for Jibril. How could he show you what he himself wrote to Satan? Oh boy, yay. Okay, and here's where we get back to topic. Some of the commentators have said, some of the commentators, not one, some have said that Noon is a fish on the water below the 7 layers of the earth. Because of the burden of the earth is so heavy, the fish became bent. It became like a noon, the letter noon, its head lifted up from the east and its tail from the west. When it wanted to complain about the heavy burden, Jibril shouted at it. It became so afraid that it forgot the heavy burden of the earth, and it will not dare to move until the resurrection. When the fish carried the burden and did not complain, the Lord of the worlds gave it 2 bestowals of eminence. One is that he swore an oath by the moon and the stars up above. So it became the place of the oath of the Lord of the universe. The other is that he held back the knife from its neck. All of the animals of earth are sacrificed with a knife, but not the fish. The world's folk may know that whenever someone carries a burden, his suffering will not be wasted. O Chevalier, if the fish carried the burden of the earth, the faithful servant can carry the burden of the patron's trust. a man, and man carried it. When the fish lifted the burden of the earth, it became secure from the knife of punishment. What wonder if the faithful person who lifts up the burden of the trust becomes secure from the knife of severance? Yabaye, yabaye, yabaye. Oh, help me, help me. Ilhatni, ilhatni, ilhatni. So anyway, guys, now you know why there are earthquakes. What happens is that this fish, the earth is on this fish, and sometimes the fish goes like this. But that's why there are mountains on the earth, to keep the fish from bent fish. That's why fishermen are called anglers. Houston, you always come with jokes that are very high level. You'll need this to check the correct angles of the anglefish. Yeah, so there you go, you guys. So we had 2 earthquakes today, and this is the reason why. Now you know. Okay, so let me see. He wrote for you to Gabriel. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, that's kind of what I was going to talk about today because of the earthquakes. Lots of earthquakes. And you know what? We should maybe get a little serious, okay? Let's read. There's 2 passages actually in the Bible that talk about earthquake. Well, you know what? That's a very interesting topic actually, earthquakes in the Bible. There's lots of very interesting earthquakes in the Bible. In particular, when Jesus was crucified, there was one that was so strong that the graves opened and dead saints came out and went and witnessed in Jerusalem, according to Matthew chapter 28. Yes, and okay, and there was also an earthquake when Jesus rose again, because you know the angel came down and it says there was a great earthquake and the soldiers became like dead men. And there was the soldier in the day of Uzziah, is a famous earthquake, and you know the. I'll tell you this crazy thing, you guys. This is really crazy, but you know what used to happen is that because of the orbits of the Earth around the sun, the Earth and the 9 planets, you know, they go around the sun. There used to be a time when every 300 or so years, Mars would come close to the Earth. When Mars used to come close to the Earth, there used to be lots of earthquakes. There used to be lots of earthquakes. And you know what happened is that people started noticing that this was a pattern, that every 300 years this would happen. And they actually started planning wars during that time when the Earth and Mars would come around. And Chuck Missler talks about this. And I mean, it's a historical event. I mean, I'm not making this up. And so that's one reason why they would see Mars, and like the Greeks started calling Mars the god of war, because it would always come. What would happen is that the orbits would come close together, and they come so close that it would cause disruption and the Earth would shake. So anyway, that would be about every 300. I'd do something about that sometime. That's very interesting. That's scientific. There's scientific evidence for this, not like this fish situation over here. Okay. But yeah, so all right, yeah. But anyway, we're going to look at the Bible, and Matthew 24. Okay. It says Jesus left the temple and was walking away when his disciples came up to him and to call his attention to its buildings. This always cracks me up. You know, they want to show Jesus, they want to be tour guides to show Jesus the temple. You know, like, do you see all these things? He asked. Truly, I tell you, not one stone will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, his disciples came to him privately. It was Peter, James, John, and Philip. Tell us, they said, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Jesus says, beware that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah. I am the seal of the prophets. I'm the Messiah. And will deceive many. Fastest growing religion. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise up against nation, the Ukraine and Russia, kingdom against kingdom, Gaza and Israel. There will be famines, earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Okay, so there Jesus speaks about earthquakes as well happening. So, well, Makar, many, lots of deceivers, yes. And yeah, Makar is Makar, the deceiver. So, all right, you guys. Well, yeah, just want to talk a little bit about that because today was Earthquake Day. So anyway, thank you for. Oh yeah, yes, he talked. Some of the stuff I didn't understand. But that thing about the orbits of the Mars and all that was very interesting. So yeah, it'll all pan out in the end. So all right, you guys. Well, thank you for hanging out. And if you haven't done it, remember, you guys, I have my new book available on Amazon. My beautiful wife on the cover. It's called Eve Didn't Have a Name Yet. So please go buy it. Buy lots of them. Make me rich. Okay, it's on Amazon. Hussein Mashni. Eve Didn't Have a Name Yet. And you can also get my picture because my picture's on the back. All right, it's a short book, easy read. There's also a Kindle version if you want the Kindle version. So thank you guys for hanging out. If you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but more importantly, he loves you. Have a blessed night. Thank you.
If you have ever wondered why dull apologists lie so much, it's because on a rare occasion that they tell the truth. This happens.
One of the reasons I accepted Islam was the scientific miracles. I'll be honest with you. And now we know that this whole scientific miracles was absolute nonsense.
You're going to have to repeat that.
That the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say.